So tonight on Rosh Hashanah, we celebrate creation. We celebrate humanity. Rosh Hashanah is the annual celebration of the beginning. Some people say it's the anniversary of creation, of day one, and some people say it's the anniversary of the creation of humanity on day 6. No matter what, it's sometime, according to our sages, around this time, one of these days, of these 6 days, one of these days of creation that we're celebrating every year on Rosh Hashanah. And right at the beginning of the Torah, in chapter 2, Genesis, the Torah whispers a truth that feels just as urgent tonight as it did in the Garden of Eden. Lo tov hiot adam levado. It is not good for the human to be alone. This is right at the beginning, chapter 2. And it's a cornerstone of Jewish understanding of what it means to be human. Not just about Adam and Eve. It's not about marriage or companionship. It's about the very essence of what it means to be human. From the very first chapters of our Torah, God declares that loneliness is not a natural human state. To be human is to live in relationship with God, with others, and with community. We are designed as humans for connection. Without others, we cannot grow. Without others, we cannot love. Without others, we cannot fulfill the purpose for which we were created. A lot of times, people will come to me at the beginning of their Jewish journey, interested in conversion. And sometimes people are converting because they're in love with somebody and they want to convert to be part of a partnership. But a lot of times people come, and I'm looking around the room and I see some people here who definitely fit into this characteristic. They wanted to convert because something in their soul said they wanted to be Jewish. We just heard Dor Shahar on Tuesday, who came and spoke to us about his journey from Khan Yunis, from Gaza, to become a Jew. He said, I wanted to be a Jew. And this was a guy who literally at 12, 13 years old in Gaza said, I want to be Jewish. But it's not easy. And I tell people the Jewish journey is not one that can be traveled alone. A lot of times when people think about becoming part of a faith, they think it's a matter of expressing a connection to that faith, to study that faith, to express the religious traditions. But Judaism is a little harder to be a Jew because you need to be in relationship with a community. There has to be a community there for you. And so I tell people, if you don't have a spouse or a partner or a family that's Jewish, you need to get one. You need to become part of one, right? And again, looking around this room, I see some people who did that, and their families here. And finding others, whether, again, you're making that journey or, again, in a relationship, finding the other is not easy. It's not meant to be. In the next phrase in the Torah, when God says, I'm going to fix this, God says, I will create for Adam, Ezer Kenegdo, which is sometimes translated as a fitting companion. But it also means, literally in Hebrew, a helper in opposition, which is a wonderful phrase. Helper in opposition. So that means it's not only hard to find somebody, but once you find that person, it's meant to be challenging. Because the person that we find is meant to be someone who supports us, but also at times stands opposite to us. Someone who comforts us, but also challenges us. That is what a relationship is supposed to be. It's what makes a relationship real, it's what makes a community real. Relationships and communities are meant to be challenging. And that's what we think about every year at High Holidays, because we come together tonight, not as solitary souls, but as a community, as a congregation. And that's what our prayers are written. The language of them throughout the High Holidays, you're going to see, is the plural. Avinu Malkeinu, which we'll do tomorrow. Our parent, our ruler, our. Shlach lanu, forgive us. Even the Vidui, which is the Ashamnu prayer, the confessional, we say Ashamnu, we have sinned, we have transgressed. Judaism always stresses at this time of year the community, the plural, because we cannot face the enormity of life or the enormity of repentance alone. Each of us has a deeply personal spiritual journey, but Judaism insists that we walk that journey together with someone else, with a community. To be part of the Jewish people means that you're never isolated in joy or in struggle. We live in a really, really tough time. Loneliness has become one of the defining crises in our age. Even before the last couple of years of horrible anti-Semitism, even before the horrible polarization in politics, even before the wars and the global conflicts, we were already struggling with disconnection. Sociologists have spoken about the loneliness epidemic, which went far before the pandemic. More people than ever are feeling isolated, unseen, unsupported. Technology connects us to the whole world, and yet somehow, with the increase in technology, we feel more disconnected from each other than ever before. And when Jews were singled out over these last couple of years, criticized unfairly or targeted for hatred, that sense of isolation deepened. The loneliness and desperation was compounded. And it's precisely at moments like this that we must return to this foundational truth. It's not good for us to be alone. We need each other, and we need community more than ever. So how do we step into this 5786 that just began? How do we live now? Well, let me suggest a few steps. The first, you've actually already done here tonight. You show up. You show up here at community events, and we've got a bunch of them. We're going to talk about them tomorrow. We have a bunch of community events coming up just in the next few weeks. And even when the world feels hostile, maybe especially when it feels hostile, we're going to come together as a family, as a community. And your very presence in these moments says you are not alone. It's obvious. The next thing is to speak up. And we have to raise our voices. We have to speak up against anti-Semitism. We have to confront it. We have to make sure we don't fall into the fear and apathy and all the other reasons we could have to not respond. Because when we name what is happening, we not only reclaim our dignity, we'll find other people standing beside us. And there are so many people in our community who found strength in these last couple of years. And you're going to hear from them in the next couple of days too. Show up, speak up, and then hold on. Hold on to the unshakable truth that we're part of a story much bigger than ourselves. We're not the first generation to experience this hatred, and we're not going to be the last. And our strength comes from knowing that we are links in an eternal chain that has survived the worst elements of the human experience. And lastly, and this is the tough one, this is the one that requires a little bit more, and that's to reach out. To reach out to other people, to people who've drifted away, to people who are feeling disconnected, for people who are scared, for people who are hiding their Jewish identity right now out of fear. Let them know that they're not alone. This can change someone's life. It will most definitely change your life. Over the next 10 days, will not be talking about politics. Most of you know where I stand because I don't just talk about it here. I talk about it in the Signal, and we send out e-blasts, and you know where I stand on most things. And I don't know what I can add anyways, because I don't know what I can say that is different than what you've heard already, and usually by people that you've chosen to listen to, and in some cases, again, that's one of the problems we have today. So I'm not sure what I can do anyways, what I could say. And I don't seem, I don't think I've been successful yet, at least, at doing anything to get rid of the hatred. I've experienced a lot of disappointment and a lot of pain over these last couple of years personally, and I don't know what I can do to heal the political divisions in our country that are getting worse and worse, even though I've been talking about it for years, the need for us to come together and to listen to the other side. I've done 2 or 3 sermons in the last 5 years about that. So I don't know what I can say, but I can tell you that we have to come together as a community. And we have to make sure that we make it clear to the other people in this room and to the many people who are not in this room tonight that we do not have to walk through this garbage alone. When we reach out and open our doors, when we look one another in the eye and say, "You are with me," we're responding to God and saying, it's not good for the human to be alone. So on this Rosh Hashanah, I ask you to hear God's words once again. Lo tov hiot ha'adam levado. It's not good for a human being to be alone. So may we step into this new year with open hearts and outstretched hands. May we be counterparts for one another, sources of strength, of challenge, of love and belonging. And may we know in the deepest corners of our being that we are never alone. Shana Tova.
Rabbi, does it say in the Torah regarding the relationship, like what the percentage is in terms of supportive versus challenging for a couple? Is it like 80-20? Does it say that in there?
All I can say is I've known you for a couple years right now. You need to be very grateful